What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andiswa and I am just out here trying to live simply, make money and help others do the same. Today I wanted to talk about something that's been sitting on my mind a little bit. I think it's been on my mind for a couple of months, but has also been brought on more and more by some changes that have happened in my life. If you are a regular on this channel, you would know that I posted a video a few weeks ago and I spoke to you guys about preparing for an interview, a job interview. So I got that job, so I'm still in the same company, but I've started a new role. I'm 1 week down. I started on the 1st of June, and so with that transition, I guess I've been thinking a lot about work, and also just over the last few months as I have been trying and failing at finding some sort of balance. And basically today I want to talk about why I don't have a dream career and why you shouldn't either. Being a perfectionist type A personality, I think I've always had a just like bordering on toxic relationship with work. In school, I achieved highly academically, and that's carried on into my work, into my businesses, and it means that I tend to make myself a slave to work and then find myself burnt out a lot of the time. And over the last few months, and especially in the last few weeks as I've been preparing to start my new role, I've been thinking a lot about how I can begin to free myself of the idea that I must live my life in service to work. And I think a lot of us, more of us, my opinion, should be questioning the relationships that we have to work. A few weeks ago, I had my niece visiting me, and I remember asking her, Chichi, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she said, without thinking, Elsa. She's 5 years old. And I was like, what? She was like, Elsa. And I was like, okay, go off, girl. You gotta be Elsa. If you want to, you can do that. And I laughed in the moment, and I affirmed her that was great. But I also started thinking about what my childhood sort of career goals and dream job were. For me, that was first a ballerina. I think everyone goes through that stage. I don't know, but I definitely had a ballerina stage. And then as I got into my preteens, I decided that I wanted to become a writer. I've always been an avid reader, and as we got older and the high grades and started having to write essays in school, I realized that I wrote really well. It was something that I enjoyed, something that was affirmed by my teachers in school as well. And so I thought, well, this is great. I enjoy this. This is what I'm gonna spend my life doing. But as I got older and like into my high school years, there's something that shifted between like being a preteen and then being like a teenager and like going towards finishing school and really having to think about my career. And what shifted was people's response to me saying that I wanted to be a writer. When I was younger, whenever I said that, people would be like, yeah, great, you write great stories. As I got older, the question that I was met with most often was, can you make money doing that? Are there many opportunities for writers in South Africa? How do you even become an author? Because I think that's probably the only way that you can make money doing that. What happened that wasn't there when I was a child was that the pressure to make money was introduced. So as children, we base what our dream jobs are purely what we enjoy, purely what just brings us joy, what lets our imaginations run wild. For Chi-Chi at 5 years old, that means Elsa because she's in love with everything Frozen. In my mind, as a child, it was I love words, I'm really good at it, so that's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna be something that brings me enjoyment. But as we grow older, this idea of having to become sort of contributing members of society starts to outweigh or be more important than what actually brings us joy. Another thing that happens as we get older is that we come face to face with society's expectations on us. We begin to engage more and more with what society expects of individuals. No matter what kind of background you come from, whether privileged or previously disadvantaged, the expectation on everyone is that you must be successful. And society then takes it a step further by then also defining what success looks like. Obviously, like, we can grow and self-actualize and figure out what success is for us personally, but if you think about what's put in and drilled in our minds as we're growing, it's that you need to have money. Your parents expect that at some point you will leave their house, you will start earning money, you will move out on your own, you will buy your own stuff, and that is a marker of success. In the same way that buying a car or your first car is a marker of success. Being able to travel or go on holiday is a marker of success, and that success is all indirectly and directly linked to having money. What we're told is to be successful is to have money, and that also, without us consciously knowing, starts to play into what we deem as good jobs and our sort of career goals or dream jobs. One example, sort of in action, that I can think of this is a high school friend of mine. Should I say her name? Let me not say her name. This friend of mine wanted to be a nurse her whole life through. I met her in grade 8, and from grade 8, all I ever heard her say was that she wanted to become a nurse. And this was so until matric. She was also really gifted academically, did really well in school, did really well in sports as well. So she was someone who, like, in her school career was very successful, and so everyone sort of had expectations that she'd go out in life and be very successful there too. So when people and teachers started asking her, well, you're in matric now, what's your plan for next year? And she said, I'm going to go to nursing school because I've always wanted to become a nurse. She was met with a lot of like side eyes and disappointments and a lot of well, nurses don't earn much, or why don't you just become a doctor, or are you sure you want to be a nurse? Have you like gone for career guidance? Or I think you're too smart to be a nurse, why don't you aim higher? And I think eventually, not that I think, but I think, I can't say for sure what landed the decision for her, but I do feel that all of these comments that she would get ended up influencing the direction of her career. And instead of going to nursing school like she'd always dreamt of, she ended up going to medical school, which is obviously in and of itself not a bad thing, but was it what she truly wanted? I don't know. That's just an example of the pressure that we face from the expectations of society, our families, and the people around us to get success, and to get that success by having these good jobs and good career trajectories. The other thing is that society not only tells us and dictates to us what success is, it also builds a narrative around how you can obtain that success. So think about all the things we're told will set us up for a good life. You do well in school, you study the right thing, you do well in varsity, and if all of those things align, you'll be able to get a good job. In that good job, you must work really hard so that you can climb the corporate ladder or climb whatever ladder is relevant in your industry and do well. So you must constantly be working hard. And in school, you must work hard to get good grades so that you can get into a university and get the education that's going to set you up for life. So you work hard there too. You work hard, then you get your internship. You must work hard there too, so they offer you a permanent position. Once you're in that permanent position, you must work your head off there as well so that you can climb. And actually, even that, just doing that is not enough. You must also have a side hustle. Right? You must never stop working. You must be working 9 to 5, and when you get home, you must be working on your businesses as well. The narrative that goes around is that there's a direct correlation to the amount of work that you put in and the success that you achieve, which of course we all know is completely not the truth. Especially here in sunny South Africa and in Cyril's economy. We know that with our history in South Africa that things are a little bit more nuanced. We know that more than 60% of people in this country live below the poverty line, and we know that within that group of people are people that are educated, are people that work hard, that are up at 5 a.m. every morning to travel an hour and a half to work the whole day, and then come back and raise children and grandchildren. And so it doesn't add up that the thing that leads to success is hard work or education, because there are so many people who have obtained gained university degrees and never worked, people who work hard and will never make it out of poverty. That whole narrative is kind of problematic. All of these narratives, I think, are kind of problematic. And then in contrast to all of these things that are quietly ingrained in our brains without us even knowing, is what is the truth. And the truth is that all of this labor that we're told is necessary for us to gain the success and this money and wealth and maintain good jobs. The fact of the matter is that we are not built for labor. Humans were not built to work as much as we're expected to work. There are studies that have shown that we literally shave years off of our lives by sitting at desks and working all day. We are literally robbing ourselves of years of our lives by doing our jobs. And if that's not enough to convince you, there's also a study that was done by a company where they had tried to increase the number of days that their employees worked. So instead of working a 5-day week and getting a 2-day weekend, their employees worked 6 days a week and got 1 day off. What they saw was that productivity dropped significantly when people had to work more days, like significantly, to the point where they had to reset and go back because they were like, we're losing money as a business. So after seeing these results, the CEO or HR maybe decided, hey, let's test the inverse. Let's see what happens when we take away a day of work. So employees have to work 4 days a week and then they get a 3-day weekend. Can you guess what happened? Productivity boomed. And so the whole 4-day work week thing is now something that companies are testing and trialing because it's found to make your employees more productive. And it's something that the company that I work for is even thinking about and testing in some places and trying to figure out how to do. And for me, that just goes to show that we shouldn't be forced or be forcing ourselves to keep up these high levels of productivity for most of our days. We shouldn't be trying to work as hard as we do all the time. And the other thing that I've been thinking about is the fact that humans are also so multi-dimensional. It doesn't add up or doesn't follow for me that our success would be based on just one aspect of our life. Career success is not the be all and end all for a successful life. There are many other things that come into play, like relationship success, physical well-being, mental well-being, and a whole lot of those things. So for us to be truly successful as human beings as a whole, we need a myriad of things to stay physically, mentally, emotionally healthy. So how then does it add up that our success, how successful you are as a human being, would be based solely on the job that you do? So much so that that's like the part of your life that you must map out, that you must develop, that you must be thinking about all the time, that you need to take courses for. It doesn't make sense that humans are so multi-dimensional and yet how successful we appear or our rank of success is based on the jobs that we do, the money that we earn, and our careers. And speaking of the multidimensionality of human beings, the fact remains that we have so many interests and desires and hobbies and passions, and so knowing that and given that, it also doesn't add up that we would be required to pick this lucrative career path that will bring us towards lots of money at the expense of the things that we love and still deem ourselves successful. Surely success is having the fluidity to enjoy all of your interests and hobbies, be it in a job or after hours or whatever the case may be. Personally, I've always had a problem with the idea that we must pick our careers at like 17 years old and then stick to them our whole life through. And if you look at my sort of education and career history, I think I've held on to that principle because my path has changed so much. Like, I started off studying psychology. I hated it. I dropped out. In second year, I took a semester off. I went to Mozambique and volunteered and taught English, and it was great. Came back, finished my degree in English and media. Thought I would become a journalist because I went back to my first love, writing. My first job out of school was production. I was producing television commercials. From there, became a copywriter in an ad agency. Also got introduced to social media and digital marketing and started doing that. And then from being in advertising, I went into a multinational corporate side, and now I'm in brand management. It's just different. It's different. I can confidently say that I've never had a job that I didn't love. I've never had a job where I didn't enjoy what I was doing. And that just speaks to how multi-dimensional humans are and how unbox-inable we are. And for me, that also just refutes or like takes away the need for a career path that's so defined, or a dream job, or career mapping, and all of those things that we're expected to do. And so with all of that said, and all of those thoughts that I've tried to condense and I hope have made sense, what I've arrived at is that the dream cannot be a job. The dream isn't a job. The dream is not a job. How can it be? What I've decided to do is opt out of the notion of having a dream job and rather opt into having a dream life and pouring as much energy, as much planning and development into my dream life. If you're wondering what it is that for me would make up my dream life, can't think of it off by heart, but I do have it written down on my phone, so I will read it. So ironic, my job is emailing me while I'm saying I do not have a dream job. So these are the things I aspire to now. I dream of being happy, of rest, of having moments of meaning and connection with the people that I love and the people that I am to love. I dream of learning and re-educating myself constantly, whether it be formally or just through exploration and reading. I dream of traveling a lot when it is once again safe to do so. I dream of being healthy, living balanced, and I also dream of economic freedom. And I know that one might sound a bit ironic given that I've just done a whole spiel about how we shouldn't have dream jobs and dream of labor. One thing that I have determined and have decided is that rather than us living our lives in service to a company or a business or a job, those things should serve us by bringing us economic freedom, by giving us the resources that we need to live our dream lives. The shift that I'm trying to make in my life is to go from pouring everything that I have into my dream job, into my dream business, and rather working hard in my job and in my business so that those things will yield the resources that I need to fuel my dream life. And I think that is such an important mindset shift, especially given the narratives around hustle and work and busyness and everyone must be an entrepreneur, which isn't true and doesn't hold for everyone. Those are things that we convince ourselves of, but they're not true and innate. There's other things that you could put the same energy in that would be more fulfilling for you, that would bring you calm and peace, that would help your mental health, that would help your physical health. In conclusion, I think that success isn't having your dream job. Success is living a life that you love. What I would love to get to is understanding and knowing that my job is not my life, my business is not my life, but those things are merely a means to the life that I want. One thing that I've been asking myself that can be helpful for you as well is just to consider, what would you do if all your needs were met? What would you do if you had no bills, all your bills were paid for, if you had groceries every week as you needed them, if your car was paid off and everything? What would you do if you had all the money that you needed, all your needs were met, and you had the freedom to decide how you spent your days? And if you can arrive at an answer for that, then I would say make that your dream. Model your life around that and make your job simply what it was created to be, and that is something to resource and sustain you as you live a life that you love. And that's about it from me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It is a little bit of a different one for me, but I've been mulling over this as I've been really struggling to find balance in my life with all the many things that I want to do and think that I have the capacity to do. It's been really helpful for me to pull back and really look at things on a lens of like, what do I enjoy, what do I love, what fuels me, and then just make conscious effort and decision to do more of that rather than dreaming of labor. So if you liked this video and found it helpful, please do give me a thumbs up so I know that it is real. Comment below and tell me what your dream life looks like. What would you do if all your needs were met? Thanks so much for watching to the end. I really do appreciate it. Keep well and stay safe, and I will see you again soon.